again, and welcome to Doing Life with Itsy on a Bitsy Budget. We're going to be cooking a cabbage dish that I just kind of made up myself. But let's go in the kitchen and we'll get started. Okay, to get started, let me show you what you're going to need to make this dish. First of all, you're going to need some bacon. I buy this big thing of bacon because I use it a lot at Sam's. So you can go in there, it's in a big box in their pool section with it says meat. And then you're going to need a can of, you can use petite diced tomatoes or just diced tomatoes. You need an onion and about half of a cabbage. So I'll cook the other half with some other dish. And then I use mild Italian sausage, but you could use any kind of meat you want. You can use hamburger, you could use kibasi, any kind of meat that you want to put in here works. What this is the version of stuffed cabbage in a way. It comes out and it tastes just like, we used to call it the slush in the bottom of the pan, where you have kind of like all the stuff and it's just kind of slushy. It's not the actual rolled up cabbage, and so it is very good and it's very easy to make. Let me get a little more organized here. I'll cut up some stuff and we'll come back to you. Okay, while I'm preparing this, I just want to show you this little way I cut up bacon when I'm using it for seasoning, and I just stack it all together and just cut it with scissors, and then it makes little pieces. So if you're making a salad and you need bacon bits or whatever, it's very easy to do it like this and it's less time consuming. But just a helpful hint that in your kitchen, always keep a couple pair of scissors in here. They don't have to be anything fancy. These are just, from any store, and they work just fine. Okay, so I'll come back in just a second. Okay, so just a couple of things to show you. I cut the sausage up, and it comes out to be bite-sized pieces. So they're just about 5 slices on your little piece of, or the little sausage when you buy it. And then I just slice my onions. They're going to come apart like this whenever I cook them. I start off with my bacon and get that fried, and then I'll add more meat to it and the onions. Also, I want to tell you, for those of you who don't have a lot of counter space, never be afraid to buy in a thrift store or a estate sale these old can openers. They outlast anything you can buy now, and they work great. So you just open your can, and then it's going to go in after you put your cabbage in, which I'm going to cut up, and I'll show you how I cut that up once I get this stuff cooking and off the cutting board. So we'll come back to you in just a second. Alright, I wanted to show you, get your bacon about, I'd say half done. And you see how it just falls apart in there and makes little tiny crunchies. And then I add the next thing I'm going to do is add these onions and the sausage and start cooking it. And I forgot to show you what seasonings I use. I use this complete seasoning. It is really good. It has everything in it. It just saves a lot of time, and pepper in this. That's all I put in here. So I'll stir this up a little bit, and now I'll add my sausage. And I just kind of sprinkle it around so it cooks fast. And again, I'm cooking this on about medium. You don't have to do it too high, and you don't have to do it at a low temperature. It's all going to get done. It kind of just all goes together anyway. So just have that cooking, and I'll let this cook for a few minutes, and I'll come right back to you. Okay, so I'm just cutting, this is a big thing of cabbage, so I'm just going to use half of it. So I'll just cut half of it, and all I'm going to do is just kind of slice it up and then cut it again. So just, this is fine. You can put it in just like this. It doesn't have to be in small pieces or anything because it kind of shrinks. It's easy to eat. You just don't even have to worry about it. So just cut it up, and it's going to go into the pan next. All right, we'll be right back. All right, I just want, Jennifer, if you can see good in here. This is just starting to get a little bit done. It's not real browned or anything because you don't really need it that brown. It's going to continue to cook as you put the other ingredients in. So I'll go ahead and get those ready to add, and we'll come back to you. But this is about where you want it before you add your cabbage and your tomatoes. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, so I just was going to show you this part. I go ahead and turn the burner up a little bit. So not quite high, but close to high. So get it going a little bit and just put your cabbage in. Now the cabbage is going to look like it's overstuffed in here, but remember it's going to cook down. We're going to put a lid on it, and the steam is going to cook the rest of the sausage and the cabbage. Then I just let that get a little bit warm, and I'll put the pepper and the complete seasoning, and I'll put these diced tomatoes in. When you put the diced tomatoes in, it's like adding water to it, so therefore it makes it real steamy. Put your lid back on. You're going to cook it about another 5 minutes, and that's going to be it. So total time we'll tell you at the end. We've got the clock going, so we'll let you know what it is. Okay, we'll come right back. All right, so I'm stirring it up a little bit, getting all the good juices on the cabbage. And as you can see, this cabbage is already shrinking. So I'll get that on the top, and I'll let it cook for another couple of minutes, and then we can go ahead and add some of this complete seasoning now, so it can kind of cook in. And I'm pretty liberal with that because it's good the more you get in there. A little bit of pepper. We'll put the lid back on for a minute before we stir it again, and then we'll add those tomatoes, and that's the last ingredient. One of the things I wanted to tell you is when I told you this tastes like stuffed cabbage. So a lot of these ingredients are the same thing you use in stuffed cabbage, except for you use a little bit of sausage if you want, and ground up, and you also use hamburger, and then you use rice and stuff to make the stuffing part for your cabbage, which I can make one day for you. But this is a real close second to eating stuffed cabbage. It's very good. All right, we'll come back in just a second. Let me go ahead and get it ready to put the tomatoes. Okay, I'll show you how I put the tomatoes in right out of the can, and I just put them in a circle, get all the juice in there, and then stir it up a little bit. Now you'll see it's starting to steam a lot because of those juices, which is exactly what we want. We've got it on not high, but close to high right now. And then we're just going to put the lid on and let it simmer for a few minutes so that the cabbage continues to cook, and then we'll be done. All right, so you can see as I'm starting to stir it, the cabbage has cooked down a lot, and it's very steamy, which is what you want. So it gets everything kind of slushy, as I call it. And then let it continue to cook. It's been on there a couple of minutes, so we'll let it cook about 3 or 4 more minutes. Okay. Okay, it's just about done. Let's check it out. You can see that there's good juices in there, and it's a little steamy. That's fine. It's going to be hot, so you want to let it sit. One of the things I was just going to tell you is I have all kinds of China dishes, but when I cook anything with like a soup type of thing in it, I always use something with a lip, and these restaurant-ware dishes work great. So then it won't kind of go off, but you can just put it in a bowl. It's almost like a soup. So what I do is I serve it on the plate, and then I put a little bit more of the seasoning on it, just to make it have a little flavor at the top. And that's it. You've got your whole meal in one pan, and it took us 22 minutes. So from start to finish, it's not a big deal. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and try it. And thank you for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time.